The Constitution of the Republic of Korea. Article 1, Clause 1. The Republic of Korea shall be a democratic republic. Article 1, Clause 2. The sovereignty of the Republic of Korea shall reside in the people, and all state authority shall emanate from the people. As of 2019, the Republic of Korea is a democratic republic.
전 세계 뭐 수많은 나라가 있습니다만 그 각각의 나라들의 그 국채라든가 정체는 다 다르지 않습니까? 그래서 이제 입헌 군주국도 있을 수 있고, 뭐 민주공화정도 있을 수 있고, 심지어는 아예 그 전제 군주국도 있을 수 있는데 그런 어떤 국가의 기본적인 체제를 우선 규정하는 게 헌법에서 가장 중요하다고 생각되고요. 대한민국 임시헌장의 그 1항은 대한민국은 이제 민주공화제로 함 이렇게 되어 있습니다. 그래서 대한민국이 앞으로 새로 세워진다면 그것은 민주공화제 국가로 가야 된다고 하는 것을 천명한 것이라 할 수 있고요.
A constitution defines the identity of a nation. Then what do the constitutions of other countries say about themselves?
임시헌장의 제1조에서 대한민국은 민주공화제로 함 이렇게 했는데 사실은 그런 그 헌장이나 임시헌법에 민주공화제라는 단어를 쓴 경우는 전 세계적으로 보면은 대한민국이 유일합니다. 현재도 그렇습니다. 대부분이 다 그냥 공화제 정도로 이렇게 아니면 민주사회공화제 이렇게 표현한 경우는 있지만 민주공화제로 한다 이런 내용은 대한민국의 경우에만 그렇게 되어 있습니다.
A democratic republic means that the people are the ones who write history. Then when did the Korean people start taking the lead in Korean history? It was about 100 years ago when the Korean people first took the leading role in Korean history. The independence movement sparked the Koreans' desire to transform from the subjects of an empire into the people of a republic. The volunteer army that took up arms for the powerless country included people from the lowest social class. To pay off Korea's debt to Japan and the national debt redemption movement, rickshaw pullers and manual laborers donated the money saved from quitting smoking, and women gave up their gold rings while girls sewed locks of hair. The March 1st independence movement was spread by ordinary people. Men and women of all ages and social classes took the leading role.
1910년대는 어떻게 보면 혁명의 시대였다고도 볼 수 있는데요. 전 세계적으로 보면은 이제 이 군주제라고 하는 것이 다 청산이 되고 그 공화제로 넘어가는 이런 그 모습들이 1910년대에 잘 보였다고 생각이 됩니다. 그래서 1919년에 임시헌장을 만들 때 거기에 그냥 공화제로 함 이렇게만 쓰지 않고 굳이 민주공화제로 함이라고 쓴 것이죠. 왜냐하면 당시 한국인들의 머릿속에는 아직도 그런 신분의식이 상당히 많이 남아 있었고 특히 양반 중심으로 이 정치가 굴러갈 가능성도 있었기 때문에 민주공화제로 한다는 것을 아예 못을 확실하게 박아두자 이렇게 해서 민주공화제로 함 이렇게 써놓은 것입니다.
Shanghai, the largest commercial city in China. This is where the Republic of Korea first proclaimed that it is a democratic republic. After Korea's sovereignty was wrested away by Japan, Koreans established the Provisional Government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai's French concession in April 1919. It was the debut of Korea's first democratic republic government in history. Oh Young-sun used to serve as a Minister of Justice under the provincial government. One of his grandchildren still lives in Shanghai.
就是祖父，是做那个临时政府的，好像是法务部长，然后我的祖母呢，据我父亲跟我们说呢，他是做那个就是韩国那个妇女会的，那个是韩国妇女会的会长。这是李东辉，这是对，这是李东辉。
Oh Young-sun trained the Liberation Army in Jilin Province in Manchuria before moving to Shanghai, where his father-in-law, Lee Dong-hui, served as the Prime Minister of the provincial government.
祖母，我父亲的弟弟，然后这个好像是我，这是李东辉吧？那个这是我弟弟，你看，就在这里。
Oh Young-sun was an enthusiastic supporter of the provincial government, participating in its affiliated organizations, as well as working in the Provisional National Assembly and the cabinet. Independence activists from a fallen country. What were the dreams of these brave souls who dedicated their lives to their country's freedom?
就是说，好多我的中国的朋友，他们都认为。 上海临时政府是韩国的一个根，就是现在的这个韩国民族主义这个大韩民国嘛，是大韩民国的根，
The Provisional Government of Korea is celebrated as a root of Korean democracy. Ho Pye-jung visits this place with his brother's family.
他们这个呢是有第3届还是第4届的一个总理大臣。
Records of his grandparents and great-grandfather still remain here. (1919) was a year when the Provisional Government proclaimed that Korea is a democratic republic. But this heart-pounding event for Koreans failed to garner the same level of excitement from the world. The strife that began with Austria declaring war on Serbia in 1914 flared into World War I that turned entire Europe into a sea of fire. The devastating war came to an end in 1918, leaving 9 million dead and 22 million wounded. President Woodrow Wilson of the victorious United States of America did not want to see the colonies of the defeated countries divided up among other victors. He presented the principle of national self-determination at the Paris Peace Conference held in January 1919.
윌슨의 민족 자결주의라고 하는 것이 갖고 있는 한계가 뚜렷함에도 프랑스 파리에서 열리는 강화회의에 우리나라만이 아니라 전 세계의 식민지 대표들이 너나 할 것 없이 몰려들어요. 우리 독립시켜달라고. 아르메니아 대표도 오죠. 인도 대표도 오죠. 아일랜드는 영국 너가 우리가 도와주면 독립시켜주겠다 그랬지 않느냐. 다 달라들어요. 그럴 때 우리 대표가 김규식이라는 인물을 상에서 선정해서 보내게 되는 것 아니겠어요.
Back then, the world superpowers had only heard of Japan's claim that Korea annexed itself to Japan and had no will to become independent. But that couldn't be farther from the truth. The majority of Koreans rejected the Japanese rule and wanted independence. To the people of a colonized country, the Paris Peace Conference offered a sliver of hope. Korea had to show the world at the conference that it had a strong will for independence and fully deserved to be liberated.
대통령 윌슨이 민족 자결주의를 주창했어.
한 민족이 다른 민족이나 국가의 간섭을 받지 않고 자신의 운명을 스스로 결정하는 권리를 실현해야 한다.
이러고 있을 때가 아니야. 우리도 파리 강화 회의에 참석해서 우리의 독립 의지를 알려야겠어. 대한제국의 황제는 나라를 일본에 넘겼지만 우리 민족은 결코 국권을 포기하지 않았다는 걸 알려야 해. 그런데 그게 말처럼 쉬울까?
그러니까 한국의 독립 의지를 보여주는 선언서를 발표하는 거야. 전 국민이 함께 참여할 수 있는 시위를 동시에 펼치고 말이야.
그래, 맞아. 중국, 미국, 간도, 연해주, 일본 등 해외 동포들까지 모두 함께 대한독립 만세를 외친다면 우리 의지를 전할 수 있을 거야. 서두르자고.
남녀노소 귀천을 떠나 모두가 원하는 새로운 나라.
왕도 없고 신분 차별도 없는 민주주의 국가를 만드는 거야. 그날이 오면 삼각산이 일어나 더덩실 춤이라도 추고 한강물이 뒤집혀 용솟음 치는 그날이 이 목숨 끊어지기 전에 오기라도 할 양이면 나는 밤하늘에 너르는 까마귀와 같이 종로의 인경을 머리로 들이받아 울리오리다.
Hope for independence stirred the Korean people's hearts. The first Declaration of Independence was announced on February 1st, 1919. It was issued in the name of 39 independence activists based in Jilin Province, Manchuria. We hereby proclaim independence of Korean democracy to ensure Korea's complete independence and our equality and well-being. It was immediately followed by the February 8th Declaration of Independence, drawn up by Korean students in Tokyo. We believe that once a new nation is built modeled after advanced democratic nations, Korea will be able to contribute to world peace and culture of mankind. The news arrived in Korea soon. The religious sector and students were mobilized to prepare for a large-scale demonstration, and 33 national representatives wrote a Declaration of Independence. Luckily, people from all over the country had already gathered in Seoul to attend Emperor Gojong's funeral. March 1st, 1919, students and ordinary citizens who had heard about the protest in secret showed up to Tapgol Park and waited for the moment when the Declaration of Independence would be read out loud. But the national representatives read the Declaration of Independence at a different location. At 2 in the afternoon, 29 of the 33 representatives met up at a famous restaurant downtown. We hereby declare that Korea is an independent state and that Koreans are a self-governing people. We proclaim it to the world in witness to the equality of all nations. And we proclaim it to our posterity, preserving in perpetuity the right of national survival. They turned themselves into the police after reading the declaration and were imprisoned immediately. Meanwhile, the crowd at Tapgol Park became confused when the representatives did not show up. Nonetheless, they were firmly set on holding a grand protest. One student stepped forward and recited the Declaration of Independence, prompting loud shouts of "Manse," or "Long live Korea," from the crowd. The crowd split into a few groups and marched around the city. That day, demonstrations for independence took place simultaneously in 7 cities: Seoul, Pyongyang, Ulju, Suncheon, Anju, Wonsan, and Jinnampo. On March 2nd, major cities in Pyeongwon-do, Hamgyong-do, and Hwanghae-do provinces joined in. After March 10th, the protests moved nationwide, bringing the central and southern provinces into the fold. Demonstrations continued daily for the next 3 months. The rally at Tapgol Park was photographed by Dr. Schofield, a Canadian-born missionary and medical professor.
이제 3.1운동이 며칠 남지 않았는데 민족 대표 33명 중에 한 분이었던 이갑성 선생님이 스코필드 박사님을 찾아오셔서 우리가 이제 3월 1일이 되면은 만세 운동을 할 건데 이거를 우리가 사진으로 남겨서 전 세계에 알려줬으면 하는데 그래서 이 일을 도와주실 수 있겠습니까? 라는 부탁을 받고 평소에도 늘 한국인들의 상황에 대해서 애쓰시던 스코필드 박사님은 주저하지 않고 당신이 그 일을 하겠다고 해서 오늘날 우리가 알고 있는 우리 국민들의 3.1 만세 운동 현장의 사진들이 전해지게 되었던 것입니다.
The news of the protests reached Koreans living abroad as well. Same types of demonstrations took place in Manchuria, the Maritime Province, the US, and Japan. Korean expatriates in the United States held the Korean Congress in Philadelphia and took to the streets, waving Korean flags. Korean students in Tokyo and Osaka joined the movement and called for Korea's independence. In West Jeondo, an independence activist group called Bumindan led Mansa demonstrations. While in Longjin and Hunchun in North Jeondao, people read aloud the Declaration of Independence and rallied. About 50 rounds of Mansa demonstrations were staged all over the North Jeondao region until the end of May, drawing roughly 75,500 participants. At the time, 1 out of every 10 Koreans took part in the March 1st independence movement, but the Japanese army cracked down violently on the protesters. Statistics show that, out of some 2 million participants, 7,509 died, 15,850 were wounded, and 45,306 were arrested. Also, 717 homes, 47 churches, and 2 schools were destroyed or burned down.
저는 3.1운동이라고 하는 역사적인 사건은 한국인들에게는 우리가 근대적인 민족으로 거듭나는 그런 계기가 된 사건이라고 그렇게 생각을 합니다. 근대적인 민족이라는 것은 그 내부의 평등을 전제로 한 것이기 때문에 3.1운동에 모든 사람이 평등하게 참여했다고 하는 것, 이것이 그리고 그 이후에 그런 신분의식이 점점 이렇게 옅어져 갔다고 하는 것, 이런 것들을 볼 때 3.1운동이 그런 한국의 민족사에서 본다면 대단히 중요한 의미를 갖는다라고 이렇게 볼 수가 있고.
Meanwhile, some 400 foreign missionaries in Korea sent out their eyewitness testimonies to the world through journals, letters, and telegraphs. Today has been a great day for Korea. People of the streets dropped in line with them, and such joyful shouting all over the city. Independence War for Freedom. As of March 28th, the hospital rooms and corridors are filled with the wounded. That man died eventually. There were unarmed men who simply demanded freedom. Police crackdown on the demonstrators were brutal. A young girl went out to shout "Manse" as soon as she was released by the police. To her, independence was something she must gain no matter how much she was oppressed. We once thought that Koreans were cowards, but the March 1st independence movement showed the unified Koreans. Foreigners residing in Korea at the time continued to testify. AP correspondent Albert Wilder Taylor got his hands on the March 1st Declaration of Independence at the hospital where his son was born.
1919년 2월 28일에 이제 엘버트 테일러의 외아들 브루스 티켈 테일러라는 사람이 태어나는데요. 그 간호사들이 든 문서를 입수를 했는데요. 그게 이제 3.1 독립선언서라는 것이고요. 독립선언서를 자신의 아들 침대 밑에다가 감춰두었다가 몰래 구두 뒷굽에 숨겨서 동생을 시켜서 이제 밖으로 보냈고 그게 이제 기회가 돼서 전 세계로 알려질 수 있게 되었습니다.
Japan was adamant on hiding Korea's independence activities from the world's eyes. However, that did not stop Albert Taylor from writing about what was happening. It's not certain whether his articles were actually published, given the then American practice of not naming the reporter or using a pen name. But judging from the dates and contents, these articles in the New York Times and Japan Advertiser can be attributed to Albert Taylor. Despite the instructions from his home country to maintain political neutrality, Albert Taylor was very sympathetic to the situation in Korea. He witnessed Korea's independence movement up close and was particularly inspired by a close Korean friend of his. Albert Taylor, who could connect to the minds and hearts of Koreans, wrote articles in full support of the independence movement. In particular, his pieces exposing the massacre at Cheamri village put him in the spotlight.
그리고 이제 제암리 학살 사건에 대해서 뉴욕타임즈 AP통신발 뉴욕타임즈 기사와 그리고 이제 저펜 어드버타이저 기사 이 두 종류가 있는데요. 이 신문 내용은 일본 경찰과 군대의 그 제암리 학살 사건, 제암리에서 벌어진 잔학상, 잔학한 행위에 대해서 굉장히 자세하게 기술을 하였고 이를 폭로하였으며 당시의 조선 총독 하세가와에게 이러한 사실을 알리고 재발 방지 약속 그리고 유감 표명을 받아낸 사실이 있습니다.
Cheamri was a site of farmer-led Mansa demonstrations in Hwaseong-gun, Gyeonggi-do Province. Roughly 2,000 local residents were participating in a rally along a 31-kilometer stretch on a market day when the Japanese police opened fire at them without warning, killing 46 and arresting 400. The enraged locals destroyed the village offices and police substations and executed 2 Japanese police officers on the spot. The Japanese army retaliated in full force. In retaliation for the Cheamri protest, on April 15, 1919, the Japanese army locked 30 Christians and Cheondogyo believers in a church and opened fire at them. Then they set the church on fire to destroy evidence, killing 28 innocent civilians as a result, and burned down 31 private homes in the vicinity. The civilian massacre at a Methodist church incurred the wrath of foreign missionaries in Korea. The Cheamri massacre was one of the most atrocious civilian killings perpetrated by Imperial Japan.
자, 이곳 제암리 교회는 감리 교회입니다. 그래서 또 이웃 면에 있는 장안면 수촌리 예배당이 또 불에 타요. 일제 만행에 의해서. 그러다 보니까 교회에서는 종단에 연락을 하게 되죠. 해서 그 서울 종단에서 현장에 와서 조사를 하는 과정에서 스코필드, 테일러, 언더우드 이런 선교사들이 와서 확인을 하고 사진을 찍고 세계 만방에 알리게 되는 것이죠. 그래서 세계 각국에서 일본에 항의를 하게 되는 겁니다.
The Cheamri massacre was disseminated even farther by Dr. Schofield. Records say that he took pictures with shaking hands and buried the bodies near the site. He wrote a report of the entire incident and sent it to his home country to expose the brutal acts of the Japanese colonial regime.
끊임없이 토론토의 글로브지라든지 토론토에 있는 일반 매체들을 통해서 한국의 상황을 전 세계에 알리는데 1등 공신을 하셨고요. 그리고 이미 1919년 겨울부터 자신이 정말 당대 한국 사람들이 당한 어려움을 집대성을 해서 꺼지지 않는 불꽃이라는 책을 써서 전 세계에 알리려는 노력을 사실은 그치지 않았습니다.
The indiscriminate killing of civilians proves that the March 1st independence movement was not led by one specific class of people. Armed with the belief that nobody wanted the return of monarchy and that they were going to make a world where everyone was equal, Korean men and women of all ages and social classes joined the protests at marketplaces, churches, and wherever people gathered.
이미 그분들 머릿속에는 민주적이라는 방식이 공식화돼서 존재했던 것이죠. 독립선언서에 민주라는 말이 굉장히 많이 나옵니다. 그것이 3.1 만세운동을 통해서 민주쟁취와 일제를 몰아내고자 하는 그러한 민중운동으로 발현된 것이죠.
On March 13th, 1919, several days after the demonstration started in Korea, an article was published on the third page of the New York Times under the title, Koreans Declare for Independence. This special wire story began. Information has reached here that the Korean independence demonstrations were more general than has been officially admitted. Japanese of all classes in every part of the country came within the scope of the movement. The Korean nationalists staged their Independence Day for March 1st, when every town and village in the country had its own parade and demonstration. It also describes how thousands were arrested and some were stripped naked and hung on wooden crosses. Starting with this article, major American dailies such as the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the San Francisco Chronicle started paying attention to the March 1st independence movement.
한국이라는 나라는 굉장히 작은 나라고 또 힘도 별로 없고 그렇기 때문에 스스로 독립을 유지할 수도 없을 것이다. 그렇기 때문에 일본에 의지해서 살아갈 수밖에 없을 것이라고 생각을 했는데 그 한국인들이 다 같이 들고 나서 우리 독립하겠다라고 이렇게 나왔기 때문에 외국인은 놀랄 수밖에 없었고 또 거기에 참여한 사람들이 이제 뭐 지식만이 아니라 학생들, 특히 여학생들까지도 많이 참여해서 그런 독립을 이제 외쳤던 이런 사건이기 때문에 외국인들이 볼 때는 정말 경의의 눈으로 이 한국을 다시 볼 수밖에 없었던 것입니다.
The world press, which had believed that Korea had willingly handed over its sovereignty to Japan, was stunned. Neighboring China, in particular, was greatly encouraged by the independence activities in colonial Korea. Ningguao Wirao, published daily in Shanghai, printed more than 20 reports and commentaries regarding the March 1st independence movement from March 12th to May 6th, praising Korea's fight for freedom and enlightening the Chinese people. Beijing's weekly magazine, The Weekly Review, outlined the movement and appealed to the Chinese people and young students for more conscientious actions. Fudan University in Shanghai. How did this series of events impact the Chinese youth living in the country's diplomatic center with ready access to local and global news?
三一运动爆发之后呢，当时中国的报纸呢是有大量的报道，对于可以说从应该是3月4号以后，就是每天都有关于三一运动的这种报道。很多的中国知识人呢也写了很多的评论文章，就是来那个讨论三一运动。像中国著名的人士，当时著名人士陈独秀，还有那个傅斯年，这些人呢都写过就是那个评论三一运动的文章，在这些文章中呢，这些中国知识人呢对于三一运动呢就是给予了非常高的评价，就是对于特别是呢对于三一运动中所体现的韩民族的这种精神，独立的精神，就是给予非常高的评价。
At the time, the Chinese were enraged by the news that Germany, defeated in World War I, planned on transferring its concessions on the Shandong region to Japan instead of returning them to China. A student protest at last took place in Beijing University. They demanded the nullification of the 21 privileges given to Japan, immediate repatriation of Qingdao taken by Japan, and punishment of pro-Japanese officials. The Chinese government cracked down hard on them. The demonstration that started in Beijing on May 4th spread to Tianjin, Shanghai, Nanjing, Wuhan, and the rest of the country in just 2 weeks. On May 6th, Chinese students in Tokyo also took to the streets. Merchants in Shanghai closed their shops, and the industrial and transportation sectors went on strike. As the demonstrations relentlessly continued into June, the Chinese government was forced to give up and nullify Japan's 21 demands.
因为从事件关系上来说呢，就先发生三一运动，后发生五四运动。这个而且呢，就是五四运动中的一些就是有影响力的人物呢，他们那个像我们说就是陈独秀、傅斯年这些人呢，他们都对于那个三一运动那个进行过很高的评价，所以三一运动呢。对于五四运动产生了就是积极的影响，这一点是毋庸置疑的。学界呢也有，就是无论是韩国学界也好，中国学界也好，对于三一运动和五四运动的这种关系呢，相互之间的关系呢，相互的影响呢，也就是做过很多的研究，有很多的就是比较，甚至呢，就是一些研究成果呢，还发现呢一些就是那个韩国的，就是在中国的韩国学生也参加了五四运动，所以从这些呢就可以看出呢，就是从一开始呢，中韩两国的革命运动呢都是相互影响、相互促进的。
The birthplace of China's May 4th movement, Qingdao. After World War I, Qingdao was on the verge of being transferred from the hands of Germany to Japan. Now, a monument stands on the May 4th square to commemorate the student movement and the people's victory.
就是而在这种斗争中呢，中韩两国人民，或者说当时的就是叫这种亚洲的被压迫民族这种联合斗争的，其实对于亚洲各民族来说呢，也都是一种宝贵的精神财产。这种宝贵的精神财产呢，对于我们今天就是来发展，就是亚洲各国之间的关系，特别是亚洲各国之间的这种睦邻友好的关系呢，是一个就是非常强大的就是推动力。就是说我们有一个共同的目的，就是说呢，要亚洲各个民族呢能够更自由、更幸福，建设一个更好的、更美丽的亚洲。这个呢是我们的目标，而之前呢，我们就是我们的先 先烈们呢，他们的这种努力，这种斗争呢，就是一个强大的推动力。
The March 1st independence movement in Korea and the May 4th movement in China run parallel to each other. They were anti-imperialism protests and were started by the intellectuals, but quickly spread among the masses. China's May 4th movement defended Shandong province from the Japanese. But what was the goal of the March 1st independence movement in Korea? Son Byung-hui, the greatest leader among the 33 representatives who read out the Declaration of Independence on March 1st, was asked by the Japanese interrogators what kind of nation they planned to establish after liberation. His answer was as follows. We intend to go with a democratic political system. It wasn't just me, but a general idea.
서울에서 삐라가 도는데요. 걱정하지 마라. 걱정하지 마라. 곧 정부가 선단다. 임시정부가 선단다. 걱정하지 말라. 이런 선언문들이나 삐라들이 돌거든요.
내가 도통 이해가 가지 않아서 그러는데 대한 독립 만세? 그래 좋아 그렇다 치고 독립이 된다면 황제를 누구를 안치려는 거지? 호성사인 세수직원 인종이 네가 말해봐라.
세계 대세가 민주공화제요. 우리는 황제를 세우려는 게 아니라 민주공화제를 원하오.
멍청한 놈들. 당신은 경상북도에서 올라온 유생이로구만. 너는 왕이 신하였으니 왕을 다시 세우려는 거겠지?
우리는 조선 왕가의 부활을 지지하지는 않소. 지금은 공화제가 대세요.
나는 황해도 수죽은 사람으로서 공화 정치가 세계의 대세라는 걸 잘 알고 있어. 속히 우리에게 주권을 돌려주시오.
뭐? 민주공화국? 일본 제국도 못하는 걸 내가 하겠다고!
이것은 소리 없는 나우성. 저 푸른 해원을 향하여 흔드는 영원한 노스텔지어의 손수건. 순정은 물결처럼 바람에 나부끼고 오로지 맑고 고든 이념의 표대 끝에 애수는 백로처럼 날개를 펴다.
As the independence movement progressed, the protesters began to make concrete demands. On March 3rd, the residents of Suwon-gun in Hwanghae-do province, where one of the 3 largest demonstrations was held, made these demands in front of the military police station. A Republican government is a worldwide trend. Hand over the military to us immediately. In Uiju-gun of Pyeongangbuk-do Province, copies of a new declaration was distributed. It read, "The Korean people are trying to build a new democratic nation founded on justice and freedom."
뭐 양반층부터 시작해서 또 신지식층이라고 할 수 있는 학생층이라든가 이런 사람도 있고 또 일반 노동자 농민들도 있고 굉장히 다양한 계층들이 3.1운동에 다 같이 참여했습니다. 그래서 따라서 전체적인 그런 대세는 역시 이제 민주공화제로 간다는 것이었죠. 그것을 보여주는 것이 당시 3.1운동 기간 동안 3월과 4월 이 2달 동안 서울에서 뿌려진 그런 삐라 가운데 정부를 이렇게 구성하자라고 하는 것이 한 4-5개 정도 되는데 그 4-5가지 종류의 정부가 모두 다 공화제 정부였다는 것입니다.
The Korean people's yearning for independence was calling for a new government. In the wake of the independence movement, several provisional governments were established in Korea and abroad. There were 3 provisional governments that took on the form of an official government with a charter, an inaugural declaration, and a manifesto. One was the Provisional Legislative Assembly that was officially launched on March 17th in the Maritime Province. Second was a provisional government of the Republic of Korea in Shanghai that formed a provisional parliament on April 10th and announced the new name of the country and its charter for the following day. And lastly, the Provisional Government of Korea in Hansung, or modern-day Seoul, that kicked off with a proclamation ceremony on April 23rd. Among the 3, the Provisional Government of Korea in Shanghai received most attention.
또 3.1운동에 참가했던 분들이 상해로 몰려가요. 그래서 이제 대한민국의 임시정부는 국내에 있는 이 지금 불꽃처럼 피어오르는 이 열기를 어떻게 하면 직접 통치를 할 수 있을까? 운영할 수 있을까? 그래서 직접 도, 군, 면의 장을 뽑겠다. 그래서 임시정부의 내무부 아래에 연통제를 두어서 요즘 말하면 도지사, 시장, 면장도 직접 뽑는 거예요. 이 국내에서 임시정부로 향하는 이 열화와 같은 지원, 이걸로 임시정부가 심장이 막 뛰고 있으니까
이제 3.1운동으로 확인된 우리의 독립의지를 건국으로 이뤄낸 통합된 정부가 필요하고 상해 대한민국 임시정부는 임시의정원을 구성해 국호도 대한민국으로 정했습니다. 국내에 수립된 임시정부들을 상해로 통합해야 할 것이오.
지금은 상해 임시정부냐 연해주 대한국민의회냐 말들이 많소. 두 조직을 통합하고 국내에 있는 한성정부의 내각명단을 수용하면 어떨까요?
그렇다면 대통령으로 한성정부의 이승만, 국무총리로 대한국민의회 이동희로 내각을 구성합시다.
쉽진 않겠지만 통합된 정부야말로 3.1운동의 국민들이 바라는 바 아니겠소? 자, 모두 힘을 모읍시다. 최초로 통합된 임시정부, 대한민국 임시정부. 우리가 꿈꾸는 대한민국은 민주공화국이다!
우리가 꿈꾸는 대한민국은 민주공화국이다!
우리가 꿈꾸는 대한민국은
민주공화국이다!
장부가 세상에 처함이여 그 뜻이 크도다. 때가 영웅을 지음이여 영웅이 때를 지으리로다.
천하를 크게 바라보며 어느 날에 업을 이루고 동풍이 점점 차가워지며 장사의 의기는 뜨겁도다. 분개함이 한번 뻗치니 반드시 목적을 이루리다. 동포여, 동포여, 속히 대업을 이룰지로다.
Independence activists in Shanghai devised a plan to found a provisional government. On April 11th, the Provisional National Assembly, composed of representatives from different regions of Korea, was founded. It was Korea's first national assembly. That same day, the provisional government formed a cabinet and elected Ri Seung-man as its prime minister. The 6 ministries of the cabinet, internal affairs, foreign affairs, finance, justice, military affairs, and transportation, each elected a minister and a vice minister. The Provisional National Assembly proclaimed the Provisional Charter of Korea with Article 1, "The Republic of Korea shall be a democratic republic," stated in the beginning of the charter. With the collapse of the Korean Empire, the people no longer had any loyalty left for the monarchy and were tired of the social class system. Koreans understandably had high hopes for the new governing system of a democratic republic. Meanwhile, Article 2 of the Provisional Charter stated that the provisional government shall be governed by the decision of the Provisional National Assembly, making it clear that sovereign power resided in the provisional parliament and thus in the people. Also, Article 10, the National Assembly shall be convened within a year of recovering Korean territory, gave grounds for today's National Assembly of Korea.
1919년 4월 11일 날 대한민국이란 국가가 만들어졌어요. 제1조의 대한민국은 민주공화제로 합니다. 지금 헌법하고 똑같죠?
Although it was a provisional government, it strictly adhered to the principles of a democratic republic. The Provisional National Assembly was composed of representatives from different local regions. The number of representatives was tabulated at 1 per 300,000 people. But prior to the census, the number was set arbitrarily at 48 with a 2-year term. The movement to establish a National Assembly, a modern idea, finally bore fruit. Expectations ran high for the launching of the new government. An Chang-ho, a key member of the provisional government and political thinker, said the following in the provisional government's first New Year's address. "Is there a Korean emperor today? Of course there is. Today, all 20 million Korean people are emperors. In the past, only one person held power, but now all of you hold power."
我们说呢，就是三一运动以后呢，这种叫民主主义，就是民主共和，就是被那个韩国人民呢，就是普遍所接受。而且呢，在这之后呢，民主主义呢，其实也是一个世界的潮流。所以，我们可以说呢，就是现在大韩民国的这种民主主义呢，它的基础呢是在就是3.1运动时候奠定的。지금 한국의 민주주의는 사실은 그때 그 3.1 운동 만드는 그 바탕에 그 건립한 것이 발달한 것이에요. 그래서 3.1 운동은 지금 한국 민주주의의 기초라고 볼 수 있습니다.
The historical side of the Provisional Government of Korea is found on a narrow, shabby alleyway in downtown Shanghai. But in marking the centennial of the establishment of the Provisional Government, a long line of Koreans wait to go inside. This place documents Korean activists' resolve to found a new nation, even in exile.
그 여러분들이 다 함께 나라를 위해서 움직였다는 거 너무 단체가 잘 됐다는 거 너무 그게 감사했어요.
The March First Independence Movement, led by ordinary people, and the Provisional Government that championed their cause. They are still teaching us, 100 years later, the truth that all state authority emanates from the people.